I'll sit with Jamie and smack him when he.
Smack him back awake.
Yeah.
This may not take very long.
We're live.
I'm just thinking.
We're getting the shots fired. Or not shots fired.
Well, it's a few minutes past 6:30, so why don't we get started? Appreciate you coming out tonight. My name is Dick Haskell. I'm with the consulting firm of WGI, the Wantman Group, and we are the city's program managers for the entire bond program for all 4 districts. With us tonight is Tom Biggs. Tom is with Mock Roos. They are the design engineers for District 1, which is our subject for tonight. Also, we have Commissioner Robinson back here. I'd like to acknowledge him. Jamie Brown, our Public Services Director. He's the man you want to talk to.
I've been talking to him, it's not getting any worse, so I will talk to Mr. Robbins.
Okay.
I came in late, I don't know what you're talking about.
And Giles Rhodes is our utility engineer. And we have Jennifer back here, who is with WGI, and she is responsible for the work that gets done for this program up in our West Palm Beach office. Basically, it's primarily maintaining the website, which we'll talk about a little bit later, lakeworthroads.com. And also she comes down and videos the meetings for us so that she can put them on the website. Having said that, just a couple of comments about what we plan to do tonight. We tried to have a meeting with the residents in the district, and particularly on the streets that are involved in the particular projects and programs that we're doing at the time. And Tom, I'm going to turn the floor to him in just a few seconds here. He's going to take you through the road segments that are included on this particular project in District 1, and some of the improvements that we are looking at planning for these areas. And then he's going to ask you and solicit input from you as to any particular localized neighborhood problems that you may be experiencing, and that we may be able to provide solutions for within our funding restraints. Because you need to bear in mind that the focus of this program is repairing the roads. So, and that's where the bulk of the dollars are focused, the bulk of the concern and concentration of the design is focused. Now, we will try and use some of these features in our design as you tell us what some of the issues are in your neighborhood and on your streets, to try and solve them if we can afford to do it. Okay? So at that point, because I don't want to make Tom's presentation for him, I'll turn it over to Tom.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me just go through briefly. I'm going to be as succinct as possible, and I'll get closer. So this is the program, the pilot program for District 1, and it's color coded by year. So year 1 is in the orange, and if you were to go out and drive around, you'd see that this street is under construction now. This street is soon to go under construction, and this will soon follow that. The bids for this part of year 1 is come in tomorrow. So year 1 is well underway, and will be all of year 1 will be under construction probably by October. Year 2 is shown in this magenta color, and what we're here to talk about tonight is two portions of year 2. This portion up here and this portion down here. And I've got a little bit bigger blow up of that. So this is so the northwest portion of the year 2 project basically is between A Street and D Street, between Lake Avenue and 6th Avenue South. And these streets that you see that are highlighted are the streets that are in the year 2 program for that portion of the year 2 program. And similarly, this segment between Dixie and the railroad, East Coast Street, H Street, from 8th Street to 7th Avenue, 8th Avenue, I'm sorry, and 7th Avenue South, is this program. So we have completed the survey of those segments. At this point, we've completed pavement cores, which basically are, well, you may have seen those in the streets, you may have seen surveyors out, you may have seen our engineers have been out, and city staff's been out looking at curbs and sidewalks and, you know, specific conditions, and we're right now just gathering all of that information and getting ready to proceed with actually designing the improvements for those segments of street. That's what our mission is right now. And so we wanted to hear from you guys, you know, before we actually get into all of that, you know, what other kind of concerns you have, and, you know, let you express those, and you know, stuff like, are you mostly concerned about the roadway surface? Are you concerned about sidewalks and curbs? Are you concerned about drainage or traffic calming or something else? And just to listen to you, get your feedback, so that when we meet with Jamie and Giles and sit down and fine tune exactly what we're going to do on these streets, that we have incorporated any comments that you have to the ability that we can do that within the city's construction budget for the project. So I guess from that.
I was last here.
You're last, so.
Well,
Good.
I brought up a subject earlier, can I
Right.
use your map
Yep.
to?
Oh, absolutely.
Give me a bigger one.
You want this
Yeah.
one?
My street's not on here necessarily, it'll be done, but I'm right here in the first block
You're on it.
on 24 South C Street,
You want to use it?
if you can see it. There's two main issues in our area that we're definitely experiencing right now, and that is when traffic is southbound trying to cross Lake Avenue, they're gunning it to get across there, and they just keep on flying down the street.
Keep on gunning.
We have now at 3rd Avenue South installed stop signs all the way across 3rd Avenue South, so they know they eventually have to stop there. Before that, they were gunning all the way down to 6th Avenue. They're avoiding A Street, so they have to deal with the bumps there, and B is one way going north. What's happening in a span of about 2 months last year, we had 3 accidents at the house next to me. I'm right at the corner and they're right here. So what happened is a car plowed into one and totaled that. Then about 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, another car plowed into both vehicles that were parked in there. One went up in front of the bedroom window where the children were. One almost went up the guide wire for the post on the corner. They did catch that guy because he ended up across the street. All 3 cars at that accident scene ended up getting totaled. About an hour after they cleared that accident, a truck came down the street, plowed into a car across the street from my house, and flipped over on its side. So we're definitely having an issue with speeding and drunk driving there. What I would love to see, and I don't mind if it's just down on the edge of my house, is one of those traffic calming devices. So when they shoot across Lake Avenue, they know they gotta slow down again, because I have children in the apartment complex to the north of my house, and there's children in the house on the corner. Not to mention across the street, we have children in several houses in this area, and they're little guys. And they don't pay attention, they play and they forget they're wandering out in the street, and somebody's gonna get hurt. That's my main concern, is they're speeding.
School access right there to the high school also.
Right, there's a lot of child traffic in here. There's a little, I believe it's a church-oriented school here. Those kids come down this street all the time, and that traffic gets really bad when they're racing through late to get over here. The second concern I have, and I don't know if the city will ever address this, but this alleyway here between C and D Street, it is just rutted terribly, and it's gotten so bad. I don't know that they've added too much material to try to grade it out, but it dips down severely before it gets to the road. So what's happening is you come down, you actually have to come to a stop to get to the road because it dips down so bad. The alleyway height is so much higher than the road. They do not come in and grade this on a regular basis. I have behind my house probably at least 50 feet in length, a huge like swale that just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper with the rains and everything. They'll occasionally grade this, but they don't always ever grade this part of this alleyway. So I'm hoping that somehow, even though, you know, this is in year 2, the city can somehow find a way to get some monies for a calming, traffic calming device here, and perhaps looked at the composition of this alleyway. I don't want it to become a shortcut where people can cut through per se, but the size of the holes that are in there now, it's really like you're on a roller coaster trying to drive to that alleyway. And you have to go like under 5 miles an hour to get through it because it's just so bad. And this house here right on the edge has a lot of little kids. My only concern with if we asphalt or cover that is people fly through there, and this house seems to be set lower. And you can visibly see that when you come down that alleyway. My concern is that somebody gets speeding and cut and end up running into that house. So there would need to be, I would think, some sort of fencing. There's some bushes there now, but they're old. They've cut it way down, so it just looks like sticks coming out of the ground. I would be concerned for the safety of the family in this house if we could do anything with that. But those are the concerns right in here in this first block for me. And this alleyway being this way is definitely eroding the street this way because all that gravel and stuff is coming here and people are just tracking it right down over the road surface. So the surface now is beginning to look more mottled. You know, it doesn't look asphalt all the time. When they redid the gas lines in here, they messed up in front of my house. They damaged the road. So they actually had to come back in and repave a portion of that. But now, there's a big lower area there, so water continues to gravel and it's building up. And my concern, that's going to usurp the foundation of that roadway over time. So when this is in year 2, I'm hoping, not that it's worse, but that these concerns might be looked at again at that time, and perhaps we can address some of those issues. That's all.
Excuse me, when we were talking earlier before the meeting, I thought you were talking about B Street. You're talking about C Street?
C Street. It's one way south.
That isn't a program.
See, yeah.
It is.
Program.
But,
You just started off by saying it's not really in the program.
well, on this map here, it doesn't show that. What it shows is at First Avenue South, it comes to here.
This is
That's
D,
C,
and this is
that's
C.
C and D there.
My bad, sorry. It's such a small head.
That's why, I mean, that's why I blow it up.
Can I follow her up, because I'm right on the same
He's on the
area.
other kitty corner across from me.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
So, all that said, she's right about all that stuff. In the alley, I've addressed it a couple of times. There's actually 2 light poles. Where's that alley?
This alley right
Yeah, there's 2 light poles, one right here and one right here. Now that light pole right there, the road swerves around it, only feeds that little house. The utilities easily could be buried in that house. I can at least eliminate one of those poles as an obstacle. I'd like to see it paved. I tried mulching originally, I've been there 12 years. I face that alley. Where'd we go again? There it is.
Right there.
So, I'm right here. So I'm facing right into that alley, and I mulch my alley behind me quite a ways. I used to do the whole thing, but then, this has been 12 years. So, but I did try that, and it just went too quick. It wouldn't stay up. But there are 2 poles there, and this one here, if you just get pulled back, I know that's a matter of lengthening all the wires, but if you get pulled back 10 feet, that would be a straight shot. Yes, there's a speedway. Yes, there's a drop into that property. Yes, there's small children. And I have seen, even with that depth, people just hit that turn. Obviously, they're looking to the right as they hit that turn,
Yeah.
and they're blindly turning left, okay, because they're looking for traffic, like this. And they're not looking for any kids or anything here. So I don't know how to slow that down, but if we do pave and everything, it would be good. Put a bump maybe just before the sidewalk. We do need a sidewalk there. The women with baby strollers, they have to go around this thing. And right alongside, I lost me again, right alongside the side of, which is, this apartment building is 1415 Lake Avenue. Right along the side, I believe that's supposed to be no parking through there, but they're overflowing from the parking lot into there now. And that's always flooded right there also. And there's a little flooding right in front of me, and the sidewalk's been broken since I've been there. No one ever fixed it, even when they fixed hers, but they had a worker sign there. I'm like,
No, they didn't. I
so
said.
you have the worker sign, can you go over there and fix it? Anyway, that was about 4 months ago. Anyway, there's a lot of that going on, and I've asked city council many times if we could get arrows painted on the ground, because directional arrows would be really good. I've seen, I walk late and even during the day, so many cars going the wrong way, and there needs to be serious alert here before people get into that turn, because when they're going the wrong way, they don't know it. And now they're going into this blind turn and cars are coming around like this. Really nasty. Arrows on the ground, pointed like this before people can make it that way. And the same thing on any of these roads. The turn, like let's just take First Avenue South right here. If somebody were sitting here, there should be a straight arrow right here pointed that way, and dual arrows, because this is a two-way street, dual arrows pointed that way, because we're going from one way to two ways without really any notification, other than this little tiny sign that might be up there. And if they are looking at the kids, and they are looking at the other stuff that's down here, a lot of people miss that little sign that says one way. So, and as soon as we get a hurricane, we lose all our signs anyway. But everything painted on the street will still be there. So I would love to see bunches of arrows painted all over the place, because we could use them. Seriously, it's just like we got 3 of them right here at the corner, pointed out so nobody turns in, right? Same thing. Big arrows, don't do it, and so they do it. But, but the more help, the better as far as painting stuff on the ground. Because again, we're gonna lose the signage with the hurricane, and the painting will always be there. Whether or not you wanna describe the corners, let's say South C, North C, on the, down here at the sidewalk corners, that's cool. What I would love to see, it's not in your plans, but where you got Lake Avenue right here, there's parking all through there. Sidewalk's big and wide, I'd love to see it cut back, the curbing cut back, and add a bike lane through there. Everything shift a couple feet, because there's plenty of sidewalk to shift. But right now, there's no bike lane, there's no safe way to get from the high school through here, or anybody else. Okay, and bike lanes are important. I mean, it's an important safety feature. So, speed bump.
On that same note, on that corner of First Avenue South and D Street,
D.
if you're eastbound, you literally have to get out halfway into the
Yeah.
street to see, when they built that green apartment building right there, it's like the sidewalk and the apartment building. You literally have to get out into the street to see any oncoming traffic.
Yeah, there's 0 setback there.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is there, and I don't know the feasibility of this, but I've seen it in other places, is there a way to put like a mirror or something where if I'm facing eastbound, I can look at that mirror and see down the street to see if there's traffic coming? On the opposite corner, is there some way to position something? Because I have to keep creeping out, and I haven't been hit yet so
Yeah.
far, but it's come close a few times because you can't see around that apartment building.
Or mark
Sounds like a ball down.
mark the parking better.
Perfect ball down.
I was thinking
Yeah.
that there are a couple of the streets have it.
And the other thing is at First Avenue South and East Street, there is no signage. And I've been in that house for 7 years and they've never had a sign there that
First
says
Avenue and where?
First Avenue South and E Street.
No roadway name signs?
No. And the
Over here.
directional sign of which way to go is barely like hanging on. The signage is gone. I don't know if it got stolen or whatever, but it's never been replaced. And I don't know how it keeps getting missed, but it's not on anybody's list apparently.
F. I was just, as long as we're moving a little bit out of the map. F, is it a two-way street?
Yes,
I mean, but is it? Because it's not over here, it's not from
from
F-
6th Avenue South to Lake, it's
6
a
is
two-way
two-way,
street.
and then Lake to 7th is one-way on F. I'm just saying, it's just, so arrows like that, here it's two-way, okay, now you got one-way.
Well, all of that area, so F and G is all,
F and-
is all in year 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so F to here is actually two-way, but then from here all the way to 7th North is one-way. And so, again, arrows on the ground would be real helpful.
Just on the C Street there, I live in the other side, towards 6th Avenue on C Street.
Okay?
Yeah, about 5th Avenue, yeah, right in that area. What she said is correct in that section there. My wife said to avoid that, so I always come around on 4th Avenue. The only thing on our area is they have a pothole when you come around on 4th. Maybe fix the pothole and put a sign up there like speed zone to scare the people. They come through their lot. We have no problem with that on that area because we get some real good drivers speeding through there on the second portion of C Street. Not the first one, from 4th Avenue down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you put a sign like speed zone, they'll say, oh, maybe somebody's watching us, you know. But they're real good drivers. In our area, we have police presence because of medical conditions of people, so police are quite often there, so we're pretty good in that area, except for one pothole on 4th, and maybe some sign that says they come through there. They're real good drivers. They zip through. They put a little sign to
25.
speed zone. Just put some sign to speed zone. They don't know what it is. Maybe I better slow down. So the other sign is real good.
The Greenway project that was supposed to happen at 5th Avenue and start in the spring that has yet to start. Do you know if in that plan, partnering with this one, if they're going to put perhaps a traffic calming device across the street that way?
If I remember correctly, there are going to be crosswalks at each one of those intersections as you're going down 5th, and I'll have to look at those plans. Since it's been a
Do you
while.
know when they're going to start that project? Because it was supposed to start in the spring and nothing's happened yet.
Very soon. It was actually on the last commission meeting. The contracts for both the Rosso, who's doing the actual construction work, as well as Matthews, who's doing the construction engineering inspection, the CEI work. So those both got approved by the commission in the last meeting, and those contracts are being worked out right now. So that'll be starting
So when they
very soon.
projected they were going to start it this spring, they didn't have contracts in place and everything lined up to do that.
Well, when we projected, because we knew the plans were getting done at that time, they're still in design work. So we knew when the plans were going to be done, when we were expecting to get the 100% plans done. And then those had to actually go out to bid, so we knew when we wanted to actually bid the project out.
So is this then going to become a winter project, or are we looking next year before you guys start on it?
Which one?
The Greenway on
Greenway.
5th Avenue?
Oh, no, that's going to start soon.
Okay.
So we just now got that approved through the commission, so those contracts are being completed right now.
So we're looking at, before the end of the year, they'll start that project?
Yeah, we're going to have our pre-construction meeting and everything with the contractor and the CEI, and we'll, based on their schedule, we'll get a schedule going and everything.
So are we looking at is there a possibility where we could incorporate a traffic calming device there? Or maybe, I know the stop sign is at 3rd Avenue South, but I've seen them roll through that and hit the gas again and go to 6th Avenue. We just really had some issue with them flying through down C Street just because they're avoiding A. But when you come up on C Street and 6th Avenue South, it's still dangerous because you have the road, 6th Avenue is higher. And if those people are parked right in front of their homes, you really can't get in your right lane. Some people end up straggling in the middle because it's a one-way this way or one-way that way. And I've seen some incidents up there because they can't get over because somebody's parked in front of that house right on the corner there, and they can't get in the right turning lane to turn, so they're sitting in the middle. And it's almost a blind spot when they're eastbound on 6th Avenue South to get up there because all those hedges are there. You kind of have to hope it's a higher vehicle, you can see them, because when you come out, if it's a smaller car, they're going to run right into you if you're not slowed down enough to like stop in the wrong direction facing in the turning lane that's going to go north or to go south. That's really a hazard up in there, but I don't know what can be done with it with the road improvement.
That area that she's talking about, no big deal there. The big deal is on 6th Avenue. That's where the accidents happen.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah. I mean, on 6th Avenue, it's not to do with.
No, she's saying.
So
Turning
when
on.
you're southbound on C Street,
Yeah.
trying to get up to 6th Avenue, you
Yeah.
know where the hedges are.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
actually turning in front
Right.
of traffic that's eastbound, and you have to kind of guess between the
That's-
light and the traffic who's coming that you can get out there
But
safely.
you left C Street, or you're
Yeah,
in the
once you
6th
leave C
Avenue.
Street and try to get onto
It's not
6th,
safe.
it's really
There's people
a
going
danger.
across,
Yeah.
That's
So
where the
what
accidents.
I'm hearing is that the entire length of C Street here,
It's a speedway.
you're having some traffic issues, you're having some
Yeah.
speed issues.
Just the other
So we need
Really.
to see if we can deal with that with with
I'm thinking
a variety of
traffic,
traffic calming
some
devices.
speed reducers in there,
just like she
appropriately
said,
placed.
in front of your place is a good spot for it.
Right where
But
my
even,
little free
like she
library
said,
is would be
they
perfect.
kick up the speed because traffic's pretty heavy here.
Right.
So they pick up the speed to get across, and they passed my house at better than 40 miles an hour.
Yeah,
And I'm only that far away. Okay, but they were actually accelerating from the other side of that stop sign. And they're still accelerating.
yeah, they don't stop.
I mean, well, I'm just saying, he was, the car, I think, a little blue one, white guy in it, and I'm just like, really? And he's still accelerating, and he's going past me at 40, with his foot on the gas.
There are a number of speed reducing features that we can see. It's not just a question of, okay, people are speeding, throw a speed hump down.
It helps.
It can help, but there are features that will work well under some conditions, and there are features that will not work so well. So speed humps could work. I mean, we've used chokers, we've used bulb outs.
I
at
said the choker
What's
intersections.
a
won't work
choker?
there.
I
The
don't
choker
know.
won't work. That's what they used over here.
The
on
choker
Sixth.
is
I'm asking him just a second,
like
please.
similar to what's happened on 6th Avenue South, east of
East of Dixie.
East of Dixie.
And so those chokers, those
Where
3-island chokers?
They butt out the middle of the
The
road
island
kind of a
chokers, yeah.
thing, so it
Not
narrows
at
it down.
intersections, so there's blocks.
Yeah, it's within the blocks.
yeah.
I've seen those.
But it won't work there because we got parking on both sides of C. So they're literally chokers already, the parking.
Well.
And we have a
that's-
bike lane.
Again, that's a
And a bike
feature,
lane.
that's a feature,
Yeah.
that is a traffic reducing
Yeah.
feature, but maybe that's
Not
not the
there.
appropriate
Yeah.
use for it. Something else, if you have parking lanes,
On both sides,
intersections
and a bike
is,
lane.
is to
Yeah.
have bulb outs at the intersections, which actually, they serve to, they're almost like a choker where,
Right.
as you approach that narrowing of the pavement, your natural reaction is to slow down. But they also will protect the parking lanes as well.
And it'll protect the kids better too, that are on the
Yes.
sidewalk.
Is that
I
what
like
that,
that,
is
I like
that
that
bulb out?
idea.
Is that what you're referring to?
Similar to this, not exactly like this,
Okay.
but something that at the intersection comes out.
See, I like that because it gets the kids from that blind spot turning to a little bit more fudge room before the car goes.
Those can be very effective. They can be challenging to design, particularly where we have an area where, the roadway only warrants and is only budgeted, for example, for a mill and overlay,
Right,
because there's nothing wrong with the base and
Right.
but you have drainage at intersections.
yes.
And you have to be sometimes it's a challenge to design those bulb outs and not screw up the drainage, because you're not digging up the whole road, you can't really.
Yeah,
can't
and
deal
at
with
the
grade.
end of my block, the house next to me, there's a drain on that side and a drain on the other side. Actually, I
All
think it's
four.
on all four
Yeah.
corners have drainage. So
Because I've
you're
cleaned
right,
those
in that
drains out.
instance, I don't see
And
where.
it doesn't mean that,
That's
you
not
can't
gonna
do
have
it,
its
you just
own
have to be, it's a
nightmares.
bit of a challenge to design, so you don't block the drainage.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea of a speed reducer, but then my backup to that is that I don't want it like a hump where the police can't get down there without damaging a squad car. I like this design where it's a little wider.
Well, the speed
Where it
reducers,
kind of brings
speed
it up a
humps that
little
we're
bit.
using are not, they're not the parking lot speed humps.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
it's like,
No, they're designed like 10 to 12 feet wide,
okay,
sloping on either end, and they're not more than 3.5 to 4 inches high. And the idea is not to try and make people stop, because it's not a stop sign.
Yeah,
But the idea is to make it uncomfortable to drive over one of those in excess of 25 miles an hour.
yeah. And I think that probably, I would say a majority of people live in the
A lot of
area,
people
don't
don't like those in
speed,
front of
but
their house, because they can be noisy.
I don't mind. It's just down on my house is actually 3 lots.
Mhm.
So if it came down to the southern end of my lot, I have like a little free library there. Right across there, it's an open spot. It's kind of across, south of the driveway of my neighbor across the street. And it's just about where they get their head of steam that would slow them down before they get to that intersection, which is also another like challenge when people, especially around when people are getting home from work. It can be really all of a sudden congested. People don't seem to be able to pull up to the curb even though there's room. They all have to stop in the middle of the street to let the workers off. So that creates a problem, then somebody gets mad and they're on the gas, and it's just, you can see these road rage incidents escalating and becoming more common.
I drove over there a couple of times, different times this week, actually in preparation for tonight, familiarize myself with the area. And I noticed that, particularly, what time is school at, 2:30, 3 o'clock?
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of kids.
There's just mass, it's like mass kids moving south and moving east through those roadways.
And that's a concern, because when I see these guys in their trucks running down there or other people rushing, I'm like, and I'm always like, slow down, there's kids. we don't have kids in the area signs.
Sure.
I'm not sure if that's something that the RPNA has to pay or the city puts those out, slow down for kids in the area, but unfortunately, I don't think adults nowadays pay much attention to
I think
things.
that's
If
nice
you
that
can't physically impact their ability to be mobile and move,
Speed reducer.
they're just gonna fly through. It's up to the kids to get out of the way if they don't see their vehicle.
Now, you say that there's a stop sign at
Third.
Third Avenue
Third.
South, all the way across from A Street to East Coast.
Yeah.
We have stop signs there. That was our attempt to slow down that speeding
just had-
situation. But I've seen him roll through there, and as he's testified, they pick up the gas again and go to 6th Avenue. So, I mean, you can't put one on every block, that's gonna
Well,
defeat the
but
purpose, but.
we've addressed some conditions before in this year's programs where we're actually, I want to say D Street.
That's
We're
a bad
D
one.
Street, we looked at that, and you can go for 6, 7, 8 blocks without hitting a stop sign on a one-way street. And so, yeah, they're having a speeding problem. So we're doing a few things up there on North End between 16th and 18th with speed
Oh, up in
humps.
that area, yeah.
Speed humps and putting some more stop signs, creating some more stop conditions
Okay.
at some of the intersections, and hopefully that's going to try and calm some of that issue down. We may be able to do some of those things here. Again, we'll certainly take a look at it, because that street is in the program. But always with the caveat that we've got to fix the street first.
Yeah, I know that's a priority, but while we're in there, I'd like to get some enhancements, just because I just consider it a real safety issue, and I see all these little kids, and it just breaks my heart if something were to happen tragically. And it wouldn't be because the guy wanted to hit the kid, but it was just not paying attention driving.
Sure.
They don't want to go down A Street, and they just, yeah.
See it every
So,
day.
as long as we're here, I just want to have my say, that's
Now,
it.
the alleys,
I know, that's
just so
more of a
you're aware,
street
the
thing, right?
alleys,
That's
the
not part of
alleys
the road project.
are not in
Yeah.
the program. The most we do at alleys when we cross them with street improvements is we'll either pave or run a drop curb sidewalk through there, whichever is more appropriate. And then the city has a detail, and what we're doing is we're going back 10 feet into the alley and we're putting down compacted asphalt millings. It's not for access really, it's primarily to inhibit the
Rocks from coming into the road.
silt and everything that
Like
washes
the
down,
grade.
flows into the gutters and gets into the drainage system.
Yeah.
I was gonna just say that, even if you, I was just gonna say for you that even if you just didn't touch that alley and you just improved it, there's no sidewalk that crosses that. And so like I said, it's a step down and then a step up on each side.
Right.
And then this part gets flooded, and then that part gets flooded with really big rains. And then the mothers come down from these apartment buildings or wherever with their kids in strollers, and they get up like this, and they go out to the road, and then they're out like
Yeah,
this.
they end
and
up
go all
having
the
to
way-
go out into
all-
the actual
yeah, They go all the
roadway.
way down to the driveway before they get back in. because it's
Typically,
all
typically
flooded.
what we'll do in a situation like that is one of two things, depending on the circumstance and the design. We'll either, as I said, we'll either go through, run a sidewalk completely through there and just put a drop curb in, almost like a
The sidewalk's
handicap
there.
crossing.
No, the sidewalk's there.
Okay.
On both sides of that alley.
But I mean,
Yeah.
across it, yeah,
Across it,
across it.
yeah.
Or we'll pave an apron across the alley to the
Okay.
back of the sidewalk, and then we will put curb ramps on the side with the handicap.
Yeah.
Detectable warning strips.
Detectable warning strips on,
Yeah, it's amazing when you're on D Street, the alley seems almost level, but when you get over to C, all of a sudden there's this drop in this big crater hole there. I don't know why maybe it's an optical illusion, it may be level, but
No,
it
it's-
certainly
yeah.
does seem that when you get to C Street, the alley is significantly higher than the roadway. And I don't know if you noticed that, you probably weren't looking for something like that. in
Frankly, I
your
wasn't
right
looking at the
through.
alleys.
But it is something that I've noticed over the years, it just seems to get perpetually worse and worse. But when you look at it, it seems level and all fine behind the apartments, the condos there. But you actually, on each end of the street, there is a very difference between the heights. So I'm not sure, maybe that's a street thing when they're leveling
The sewer
that,
head
I'm not
right
sure
there.
what that
You can
is.
see it.
I put that one down too.
The manhole, yeah, you could, I mean, so it's level with the gravel, the manhole is right now. It's just the gravel and the manhole are level. One thing I wanted to mention, that spot right there alongside that house, for some reason from here to there, the sidewalk has never been put in, ever.
We're seeing a lot of that.
Just a little chunk.
Yeah.
Oh, on that west
Right on
side?
the
Yeah,
corner.
there is no,
Right on the
there is no
corner.
sidewalk
So people
there.
have to go out into the street and then get back over to the front of my house or come back to the sidewalk.
One of the goals of the program is to make sure that we have a continuous pedestrian circulation on at least one side of every street that we're working on. If we have the budget and it's a matter of just, you know, if in general, the existing sidewalks are in pretty good shape, but there are gaps, we'll go ahead and fill those gaps in.
Well, that'd be great.
You know, again, depending
Yeah.
on the budget restrictions that we have once we get done dealing with the road. What I'm seeing on these streets here, I think this is primarily going to turn into a mill and resurfacing project. Some of these streets were included in the program because there were proposed water mains going in, which now Utilities Department has rethought that, and the water mains now are staying in the alleys where they are, so there won't be any water mains going in there, so there's no need to dig the street up. But we will be looking at doing milling and overlaying where it's necessary.
Good.
I know it has nothing to do with this, but that water project, I know they're replacing all the water pipes, right?
All 2 inches.
2-inch
Yeah.
overman upgrades, yeah.
That feed the houses.
Yes.
Right, okay. So they're gonna be digging up eventually all the alleys, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know where that
It's a
is. in the program.
large portion, not all the alleys
No.
have 2-inch water lines in them. There's many with 6 and 8.
Some have 4 and 6.
Only the two?
Only 2 is being focused on in this program.
So I was just curious where you guys are with that. And, I mean, we're just started, where are you? Is there a place I can come visit you in the office and see what you're doing and yada, yada,
Yeah,
yada?
yeah, we're in phase 2 of 6 phases of that, and
I was just
replacing up to
curious. I was
16
thinking of it
miles.
the other day, because I actually had a water.
What
pipe
area of
issue.
the city is phase 2?
It is, let's see if I can name all the neighborhood associations, Mango Groves, Eden Place, and College Park.
So you're in the
This is-
northwestern side of the
Right
city?
now, I think we're
Northeastern
District
there.
3, yeah.
Northeast? Okay.
Yeah.
So where was phase 1? Over there too?
Phase 1 was down on the southeastern end.
Down by Barton Elementary.
Okay, down by Tropical Drive over in that area, okay. And District 1, in the area that we're discussing now, do you happen to know where they're at in that
What that
line for
phase
the water?
is?
What phase we're in? You can say
Between
no,
3
I'm
and
perfectly
4,
fine with
I
that.
want to say. Yeah, I'm having a hard time visualizing it
That's
right
fine, that's fine. I was just curious, is that, are we looking years out, or is it any chance it's gonna fall in when this road project is going on at the same time? Are you trying to sister the work that you're doing with the road work at the same
When,
time?
when we
or-
can, when there's an overlap with the road, we do pull that segment where it was pre-planned and put it into like a bond
Okay,
work if it works out, but if not, it just stays in that phase plan that it
The object
was.
of the exercise is just to turn the road one time.
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I was just wondering, but I know my stuff is in the alleyway, but I was just curious if both projects were gonna line up and perhaps everything get done at once.
Mhm.
I know that's fantasy land, but every once in a while. you
Sometimes it
just
works
blow
out that way,
You
yeah.
never know, you know.
Pre-planning.
So even though you guys are segmenting this, do you have anything to do with encouraging arrows on the ground, like around the circle at least, coming out of the circle? Because I know there's so much traffic going the wrong
Yeah.
direction here on
Um,
Lake, heading into the circle.
Again, that's something within the roadway segments that are in the program that we could take a look at potentially as.
Is Lake in?
The lake is actually a state road.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the state roads.
So you have to go to the state to
The
get
state has-
arrows
State has
painted on
to.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that first lake, you'd have to deal with FDOT.
It's too bad because it's really nasty. Right? There's a lot of cars go the wrong way in that circle.
Well, it only takes once for them to learn the direction.
Well, then they don't have a car, but there's a lot of people that do it. And there's a lot of damage that happens.
Okay.
I just want to compliment whoever was doing that road inspection. They seemed like they were real meticulous in doing their job. They were
Yeah.
doing a good job checking all those curves and stuff.
The sidewalk crew,
Yeah.
the 2 guys and a girl? Yeah,
Yeah, something like
It's a
that.
good crew.
And the
Yeah.
police and the firemen are outstanding in our area.
Okay. Yeah, those were the engineers
They were
that do the preliminary work.
Yeah, they did a lot of marking, they were looking at a lot of different things, and, noting stuff, so that, I got excited, I was like, oh, how soon are they coming? When can I get that traffic calming device so we can like get these
Actually,
drivers?
this project, when are you due on this one? End of October?
I believe so.
Yeah. The plans are due 100% complete from the engineer the end of October.
Of this year?
Yes, of this
Oh,
year.
that's, okay.
And, don't be too excited.
That's okay. If you get them, it's a start. We
If
just
we
have to wait
don't-
for that.
If we don't have any underground utilities, if we don't have any water main, if we don't have any drainage to have to go in, we don't have any underground pipes or utilities, what we'll do is, instead of bidding the project for 2 months through a competitive bid award, we have a list of 5 contractors who are under contracts that were awarded earlier this year for the specific purpose of doing just the roadway components of these projects. So if there's underground utilities, if we have water drainage put in or whatever, we generally then have to do competitive bids. It's like a 2-month process.
Right.
And then we have to come to commission and get an approval for that. If not, once we get the plans and everything is complete, the plans are complete, we will just basically make a selection. We have spreadsheets that we'll plug the quantities into, and it'll tell us which one of those 5 contractors is going to give us the best price. And on that basis, we'll select that contractor, and we'll go right to commission and award it for construction. So those projects, we can get started a lot faster than the underground ones. So if we don't have any underground on this project, on this series of projects, which I don't think we did, we get the plans in October, we could potentially get a commission approval in November, and get construction started late November, early December.
Of this year.
Yes.
And then you're
Oh,
in charge
wow.
of the arrows and the striping and all that stuff? You guys, as part of this project?
Whatever's on the plans.
Yeah,
Whatever's on the plans. It's got to be on the plans.
We're milling it over.
Well, I'm here. I have recommended it to City Hall so many times over the years, I quit coming to recommend it. And the arrows are such a good idea. I mean, it's just so easy. You're going the wrong way, there's an arrow pointed at you. Because you're looking at the road, you know? Seriously.
You know, there are some pavement markings that, when somebody has the bright idea to put them in, you wonder why they didn't do it in the first place. For some reason, Florida Department of Transportation, over the years, as they have changed the interchanges to 95
Right.
all through the county, you're not always entering and exiting on the same side of the street. Or the turnpike, actually, is another good. So if you noticed out here on 6th Avenue,
Yeah.
Yeah.
earlier this year, late last year, somebody had the idea of, in the turn lanes to go south on 6th Avenue, okay, from the east approach, to put the I-95 insignia painted on turn lanes.
Right.
Because I have personally, and I see it more on the turnpike, because they've got the different accesses all over the place, looking for the signs, and sometimes that sign, you don't see that sign until you're on top of it, as to which lane are you supposed to be in when you want to get on the
Left or right,
expressway.
yeah.
And just having that
Ahead of time.
that painted emblem
Yeah.
that you can see on the pavement, I mean, it's just, okay, I'm supposed to be here, or I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, I love those ones up in Jupiter where everybody's in the same lane, but you better turn first to this way if
Yeah.
you're going north, and then the next one to go south. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus, you know?
Yeah.
And then people are trying to get over, and it's like a madhouse.
How many times have I gone south wanting to go north at that Indian town, right?
Yeah, that one's,
I'm
you
like, oh,
gotta really be paying
already running
attention
late.
there.
Yeah.
And same thing happens in Delray as you approach 2nd Avenue there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to get within the last block before you can see which of those 3 lanes is going through and which one's
Yeah.
doing what. So just before you enter downtown, coming from 95 and Delray, and I've called FDOT up on that one and talked to that guy about it. Love to see some stuff painted 100 yards more that way.
Right.
You know,
Give us a hint.
yeah, give us an idea what's going to happen next.
Okay, is there anything else that you want to bring to our attention as far as these particular?
I like your idea.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Ricardo.
Hi, Richard.
Okay,
Okay.
hi. And my English is now. I live in 706 South H Street.
Okay.
H. And that street, it's we don't have like street lighting.
Street lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe you know that 2 weeks ago, I think they shot somebody or shoot somebody. They killed, I don't know if a guy there. It's a little danger because it's dark, it's completely dark. Yeah, and like two nights ago, and yesterday in the morning, I think 3 o'clock in the morning, and my brother woke me up and to see, he saw by the window somebody tried to get in his car because it's completely dark.
Dark.
It's dark, yeah. And
You said you're at 706 South H?
706. No, 706 South.
Okay.
Yeah.
H?
H,
Right, yeah, right.
H, like in the house.
Right in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we're actually on the, we were up at Second and H this morning looking at different lighting and stuff we're gonna do in that area the next couple of weeks, so.
South
I'll
and
get with
north?
Electric and have them look at
South.
that.
South.
That's down by the school right there, right? H
Right
and
here.
7th, is it little school back there?
7th and H.
The school back there, yeah.
Yes. Street lighting is not a part of this program,
Oh, okay.
but what we have done is when we get those kinds of comments, which we have in some neighborhoods, actually in the neighborhood that we're opening the plans for tomorrow, we refer those issues to the city's electric utility. And they have been very, very responsive to going out and investigating the issues, and if lights are added, to designing where's the best place to put them, and what distance and how far apart, and actually implementing that.
You can make calls to them yourself, by the way. You can't, I've done it, So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, anytime I have lighting issues, I'm always giving them ideas.
But we'll make sure we pass that on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it takes them forever to get to it, you know.
No, they've been, when they installed all the new lighting, they've been really good. Because I've had
This-
some friends call.
What we have right
the
now is
outlets
awesome.
have been too dark,
Yeah.
and they came right out and added another
Yeah.
pole and put up another light. So when you have an area like that, and you have a commissioner here, so he's hearing you, this is the guy that's the head of the director, so he'll be able to look at that issue and address it for you quickly. And I know you're a little hesitant because of your language. You don't feel real confident about your English, but there's people here that understand and will be able to address that issue for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
And frankly, I've spent most of my career coordinating with Florida Power and Light, and Lake Worth's electric utility is like a dream.
Oh, if you ask me how much I paid, that's.
That's a
In
totally
terms
different
of
topic.
responsiveness,
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better.
FP&L to get a street light in, it can take you literal months. If you could even get the request of somebody responsible for doing it. In Lake Worth, refer to their electric utility staff, they go out, they look at it, they crank it right in.
Yeah, especially if there's a pole there already with power. Like, sure, we can wire that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Very good.
that's it.
Thank you. Okay, let me recognize Brian Shields, who just walked in. He is our Utilities Director and City Engineer.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you're having a good meeting.
Wants to make sure everybody knows if there's an issue, he's, you know,
I'm the one to blame.
he's the one to blame. Okay, anything else?
No, you know, the people that are the closest are the best to listen to.
Well, we certainly appreciate you coming out tonight, and I should have apologized for my informal garb. I looked at the weather report this morning, I figured I wasn't going to wear dress clothes today. But anyway, thanks very much. Keep track of us on lakeworthroads.com, okay, which is the city's, it's a program website that is done in conjunction with WGI in the city. And it's constantly being updated. We are actually putting the plans for these projects up on the website as soon as they're available to us, so that you can actually go through and see what's being proposed. And we like to wait until the plans are at least 90% done or pretty well complete before we throw them up there. But that's one good way to keep track of the timing on the project and you know, what's going to happen on each street segment.
So, Richard, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you do your plans, you said you submit them to, you get bids and then you submit it to the council? Or you submit it to the council and then get bids?
No,
Which way is it?
we will take the plans and we will either advertise for bid, for competitive bids, which again is like a 2-month process, which we're doing right now actually. Thursday, Wednesday, today, and tomorrow we'll be opening bids for 3 year 1 projects. Yes, this one opens tomorrow. Once we get the bid, we have to evaluate the contractors. Basically, we'll look at the bid package from the lowest bidder, and we'll go through, we'll check his qualifications, we'll check to make sure he's got a complete bid, and that it's not a lowball bid or an unbalanced bid, if you will. And his experience checks out, his finances check out, and everything else. And then we'll move forward with issuing an intent to notice, an intent to award the contract. And then the contractor has X number of time to get all of his payment performance bonding and all of his paperwork in line. At that point in time, then we go to commission and get the project awarded. But that's like a
Where you get it
process.
awarded, but I'm wondering, when does it get approved before the bidding? I mean, you're gonna draw some up, says, okay, we're gonna put arrows, we're gonna put speed bumps, whatever.
Right.
Like traffic calming, I like that better than speed bumps, because like you said, they're wider.
Right.
And then.
That basically is a staff decision.
Okay, so we don't get to look at what you plan to
Again,
do
but
before you go
it's-
to bid?
We'll have those plans up on the website. You can stay in contact with us. And we'll be happy to, take your calls or make the plans available to you in a preliminary fashion.
I just want to see arrows and lots of lines.
I can't guarantee the arrows. We'll-
Lots of lines that say do this.
What you're looking at, Michael, is the proposals, and this program was initially put together, is strictly road surface repair and the rest of that. What we're here to do is say, hey, while you're on my street, I'd like some whistles and bells with what your original basic plan is. Now, they'll take our input, they'll determine what that's gonna cost, what they can afford to put in. If it's within the realm of money that's been budgeted for our area, they might be able to do some of it, they might be able to do all of it. And then it becomes a practicality of the staff of the city overlooking it to see really what is going to be functionally working in that area. Arrows are a good idea, speed reducers are a good idea. What's in the budget, what's been budgeted for that particular area, what they can do. Now we're in the process of putting those together.
Does it cost that much more to add that asphalt speed reducer? Does it cost that much more to add an asphalt speed reducer?
It's all relative to the budget for the particular project.
Right.
Some projects will require complete roadway reconstruction, including additional drainage to solve surface bonding and things like that, and it really chews into the budget. So, it depends on.
And then those two flood issues I mentioned at the side of 1415, right at the alley there, because it always floods and stays, it doesn't go back in the drain.
But you see, what you're looking at is
Are you
one
guys-
spot
Right.
of all of that area that has to
But
be
all I'm
good.
asking then is, have you guys surveyed that? Have you noticed that?
Well, he's talking about, he's talking about this right here.
That spot right there alongside the building. And also that, I'm pretty sure because traffic's supposed to come around here, there's not supposed to be any parking room there. And so.
Well, yeah, this piece of C Street we'll definitely look at, it's in the program. If there's any issues in the alley?
No, I'm talking right here.
Yeah.
And right there, water just stands on both sides of the street.
Yeah. Take a look at
And
it.
so, I mean, it'd be real easy to regrade it. Well, I don't know, you're not grading, you're just surface.
Well, I mean, if there's a drainage issue there, it needs to be solved, we need to solve it with this project. Sometimes it's not the street that needs the repair, but it's the low points in the gutter that need to be fixed. And if you need to chip out curb and regrade those flow lines, then yeah, you're gonna end up probably rebuilding a piece of the street there. Yeah.
It's hard for me to say, but it just looks like it sits right there at the end of the building on both sides.
And I suspect that Tom's survey people have probably picked that stuff up. But yeah, we'll be aware of it.
It's there, yeah. That little spot is just, yeah, looking at it too.
Okay. Well, at that point, thank you very much again. Appreciate you coming out, appreciate your comments.
This is great.
And we need to put her on staff. She needs to be up here, from what she just said, doing what I'm doing.
I think she was a contract specialist for VA, so I kind of know what you're talking about.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you very much.